What is going on, everybody? This is Mike Hughes, and you are listening to the Shy Kid and Everything Chicago Sports Related podcast. We're back. We're better than ever, man. I'm excited to be here, excited to get into it, talking Chicago Bears football. Shout out Obvious Shirts, first and foremost. They helped us out. Get the Derrick Rose is a Hall of Famer t-shirt. First episode we've made in a while. Just want to say, man, I don't even have words. Well, this will be a whole nother episode. I'll hop on with Rob Scott and we'll break down everything Derrick Rose. But I just want to say congratulations on one hell of a career. And I'm gonna leave it at that because we have so much to talk about in a future episode. So if you haven't hit that follow button yet, if you haven't checked us out on Give Us a Shot Network, make sure you give us a like, give us a follow. If you haven't already, check out all our other amazing shows and content creators on all social media platforms. Almost 12K on TikTok, which shout out to him. Shout out Germ, hitting the algorithm, knowing what he's doing his thing. He knows what buttons to push. Obviously, Mike Powers and so many others. Boots on ground right now in Philadelphia, about to be in Queens. So it's really cool to see everybody just thriving right now. Protect our Queens. WNBA content. I know Marcus is distraught about the Las Vegas Aces getting dominated by the New York Liberty. I'm sure he has a lot to talk about on that. But tonight, or this morning, I should say, we are going to be talking about the Bears. I lost my voice, so bear with me. Allergy season, it's that time of the year again, baby. So, you love to see it in the Shy. But the Chicago Bears in the Windy City with their 8th straight home game win. You'll love to see it. It's the longest streak in the NFL. Currently, the Chicago Bears dominate the Carolina Panthers with Andy Dalton as QB1. We saw a little bit of Bryce Young sightings in the very end of this. But the Chicago Bears pull the victory out 36-10. Now, here's the thing. Before we talk about the game, before we talk about Caleb, Rome, DJ, the defense, the whole nine, people are going to sit up here today and tell you that you shouldn't celebrate this win. You shouldn't celebrate beating the Carolina Panthers because they are the bottom feeders of the NFL. Let me tell you why you should. Because a calendar year ago, the Chicago Bears beat the Carolina Panthers 16-13 with Tyson Bagent as the starting quarterback, who did not throw a single touchdown in that game, who threw less than 200 yards in that game. Now, yeah, we pulled out the victory, but 16-13 is not a quality win against one of the worst teams in the league, who ended up being the worst team in the league. The Chicago Bears dominate 36-10. Caleb Williams throws 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He goes 20 for 29 and throws for over 300 yards. That's a win. That's a win, ladies and gentlemen. That is a win. Caleb Williams, in his first 5 games, has more 300-yard games passing than Justin Fields had in 3 years with the Chicago Bears. In over 20 starts, Justin Fields versus Caleb Williams debate is over. I know a lot of people wanted to make it a thing. It was never really going to be a thing. I know we all saw the 1 a.m. finish the other night in Pittsburgh against Dallas. Shout out Justin. I'm proud of him. I'm really proud of the quarterback he's become, who he is. But the reality of the situation is this. In 5 starts, this guy has more 300-yard games than you did in 3 years. And that's just the fact of the matter. And you can't sit here and tell me it's because of Rome and Keenan and all these other, outside factors, because really it's not. And we're going to get into that later about the lack of, I guess, utilization in Shane Waldron's scheme with both Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze. You can make an argument that they're not using Rome because he's young, but they're not using Keenan because he's old. So there's a lot that goes into that. We're going to talk about it. But I want to say to Bears fans that didn't get a chance to celebrate this because somebody tried to make you feel like it wasn't a win. A win is a win in the NFL any given Sunday. Because I'll tell you what, shout out to my guy, Jerm Edwards. Love him. Huge diehard Bills fan. If the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams had lost to the Carolina Panthers with Andy Dalton, Germ would be blowing up my phone right now. So you got to win these games. These are the games you're supposed to win. Not only are you supposed to win, you're supposed to blow out the other team. So it's exactly what you want. Now let's get into some stats before we get into anything else. Caleb Williams goes 20 for 29 on the day, 304 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. DeAndre Swift coming out party last week. He doubles down, 21 carries, 73 yards rushing, 1 touchdown. Caleb Williams rushed 5 for 34. Roshan Johnson, 10 for 25. But he is the red zone threat for the Chicago Bears. We talked about that all season long. When I see DeAndre Swift and Roshan Johnson, it reminds me a lot of Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen. Now, obviously, DeAndre Swift is a lot more athletic and a lot more talented than Tariq Cohen, but that same thunder and lightning mentality, your ground and pound guy on third down or in the red zone is going to be Roshan Johnson. But for the majority of the game, you're going to be able to utilize a guy like DeAndre Swift the same way we utilized Tariq Cohen in his 2018 Pro Bowl year, to be able to use him in the passing game, in the kick return, punt return, rushing game, whatever you need him to do, he can do it. And DeAndre Swift reminds me exactly of that. So I love the thunder and lightning dynamic duo they have there. Obviously, Khalil Herbert didn't get any tick in this game. Tyson Bagent even finishes the game, which is funny. Didn't throw a single ball, but he rushed for -4 yards in 3 carries. So shout out to him. DJ Moore had a day and having another day. I mean, he just continues the dog walk the Carolina Panthers in back-to-back years, reminding them that they fucked up and they shouldn't have taken Bryce Young and trade away the future of their franchise. Literally, the future. We're not just talking about DJ Moore. We're talking Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, Tyreek Stevenson, Darnell Wright, and we still got another second round pick, if I'm not mistaken. So looking at that, understanding that DJ Moore in 5 receptions has 105 yards and 2 passing touchdowns. Cole Kmet, 3 for 57. DeAndre Swift, 2 for 47. Rome Odunze, 5 for 40. Keenan Allen, 3 for 33. And Gerald Everett, who I forgot was on the team until this week, was 2 for 22. That was sarcasm, by the way. But it's nice to see everybody kind of getting involved. The first few weeks, Rome Odunze really wasn't a part of this offensive scheme. Obviously, Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, and company had a players-only meeting with Shane Waldron, basically saying, you got to be fucking better, guy. Like, that's just what it comes down to at the end of the day. You have to be better. So to be able to see them go out there and just utilize everybody to the best of their ability, I understand. I hear you. It's the Carolina Panthers. That's what you're supposed to do. But exactly, key point right there. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get the best out of Keenan. You're supposed to get the best out of Rome, out of DJ, out of Caleb, out of DeAndre, out of Kevin Byard, because you are playing one of the worst teams in the league. When everybody looks great, that's when you see what a real team is made of. Because when you're playing like shit against shit, it's going to be a rough year. That's just what it is at the end of the day. Now, I want to give a shout out to Mike Hughes, myself. Mwah. I got to give myself some love. Dogs of the Week. I love doing Dogs of the Week. It's a segment brought to you by Give Us a Shot Network and the Shy Kid podcast. I've been doing it for years. I did it on Mike on the Mic. I did it over on different networks. I love it. I love Dogs of the Week because you get to pick your best offensive and best defensive player of the day, and you have to predict it right. You got to get both. Got to get both. Can't just have one. Our Dogs of the Week prediction was DJ Moore and Javon Dexter Jr. or Senior, and we hit it on the head. Our Dogs of the Week, Javon Dexter Sr. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. What was he able to do? The man had a sack on the day. The big thing for me was really not only the sack, the fumble recovery, and also the pressures. Javon Dexter Sr. is showing me that he is one of the future nose tackles of the Chicago Bears. Period. I think he's having an amazing season, and I've talked to other people before about the differences from year 1 and year 2 in a lot of guys' careers, from Chris Jones all the way to Eddie Goldman and Akeem Hicks. For me, I love what we've seen from Javon Dexter. I think really in training camp, you saw how athletic and how fast and how quick he became throughout this offseason. Obviously, he's a Florida boy, and, he dominated in college, but was it going to translate? And I think it looks great. I mean, he looks phenomenal next to Billings, next to Montez Sweat and company. So it's been really cool to see him be able to get after the quarterback. He is creating pressures, and he's been extremely important for the Chicago Bears front interior line, who I thought had a lot of questions just 2 years ago, or just a year ago, really. So shout out to Javon Dexter. And obviously, DJ Moore had himself a day. He gets player of the game. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal to see these guys really going after it. But when we talk about the development of Caleb Williams, I'm on Give Us a Shots live watch where Pete Alonso and Jerm Edwards, shout out Jerm Edwards. I keep giving him praise today. I gotta stop. I can't let his head get too big. But no, he called it. He called the 3-run home run by Pete Alonso while we were on the air with Mike Powers, Ty and the boys. But you know, I think one thing we talked about was how I don't want to get this misconstrued. I said I think Jaden Daniels uh, potentially could have been the better quarterback than Caleb Williams in this year's draft. And I still, in my personal opinion, I still believe that to be true. And I want to get into why. I think it's important. I think it's important when we talk about this kind of stuff because, I don't want anybody to think I am not rooting for Caleb Williams. I love Caleb Williams. I love the talent. I love how great he's been in the organization. He's a cancer in the locker room, or he's a crybaby, or he's a prima donna. It couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth. He seems like an amazing human. He seems like an amazing guy from what we've seen. And maybe that's smoke and mirrors, but if it is, he deserves a fucking Oscar next to his Super Bowl trophy and next to his Heisman because kid's a great actor. But in all seriousness, man, I love nothing more than to see Caleb Williams succeed. But I feel like for myself personally, watching the tape and watching Jaden Daniels coming out of a collegiate school such as LSU, watching guys like Joe Burrow develop at LSU, win a championship, I thought that Jaden had a much more clear path to the NFL, I guess you could say. Whereas Caleb Williams, you played in the Pac-12, not a lot of competition. You didn't do well statistically or historically against top 25 defenses. We saw what happened in the Notre Dame game. So I think for me, it was really more about who was going to be more NFL ready off the jump. And I think that's really what it's going to come down to. I think Jaden is more NFL ready just because he had more experience. He had more success. He's played with more NFL wide receivers. You're looking at Brian Thomas Jr., who, by the way, dog, just like we said, he's killing it in Jacksonville, Malik Neighbors and company. So, I think for me, man, I love Caleb and I think he's great. I don't want that to get misconstrued. I just felt like Jaden Daniels uh, had a much better opportunity to have immediate success. Obviously the ceiling belongs to Caleb Williams, but a ceiling is just a ceiling until you build the foundation around it. You know what I mean? You can't have a ceiling without a house, without 4 walls, a roof. You know what I mean? So that's really what it comes down to for me. I love what we're seeing right now from Caleb Williams. I think he's continuing to show us why he is the number one overall pick. Really just watching his arm strength and who he is. It's crazy to think that so many people were out on him just after a couple of starts. Now, so far on the year, he in 5 games, numero cinco, 1,091 passing yards, 5 touchdowns passing, 4 interceptions. I understand that's not the greatest, but 1,000 yards in 5 games. Yeah, we got ourselves a quarterback, brother. That's all I could say. I mean, that is a quarterback. Because you look at history's past, it took Justin Fields damn near an entire season to get 1,500 passing yards, it feels like. You know what I mean? And not really, you know what I mean? But especially in his rookie year. Like, let's look at Justin Fields' rookie year. And he basically started the entire year because he finishes, he only came off the bench in week 1 against LA, correct? So, yeah, let's get into it. Justin Fields' rookie year, I mean, it's crazy. He has 1,870 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. I mean, Caleb's already halfway there in 5 fucking games. It's fucking crazy. And again, Justin Fields isn't the standard, but it's just to remind you that it's a process and Caleb is doing well. So I'm excited about that, man. I'm really excited to see Caleb continue to develop and continue to grow. I got some stats here because I do want to talk about it. We did see a little bit of Bryce Young in this game, which kind of made me laugh. Bryce Young goes 4 for 7, 58 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Andy Dalton, 18 for 28, 136 passing yards, 0 passing touchdowns, and an interception due to Kevin Byard. Shout out Kevin Byard. I think it's crazy to think that that was QB1 just a few years ago. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to see, um, just watch the film and break down how the Bears picked apart Andy Dalton, because you really just remember the dark days, the dark days of Andy Dalton being QB1 and Nick Foles being QB2 and Justin Fields, the guy you just drafted 11th overall, is QB3, doesn't even get to practice with the first stringers. So, or the second. So, shout out Matt Nagy. But, to be on the other side of that and to see Caleb really just be the guy from the beginning of the year, um, it's great. It's great. It's incredible to really just break that down, to really just understand that, they gave him the reins right away. They said, "Hey, this guy has the potential to be the next Michael Jordan of Chicago sports." Now, personally speaking, I think I would have gave that to Connor Bedard before I gave that to Caleb Williams, but I understand where they're coming from. Because Connor Bedard is the most thought of prospect since Sidney Crosby and Patrick Kane. So, Caleb Williams, where, yeah, I believe in the hype, but do I think he had a higher ceiling than Connor Bedard did in the hockey world? I don't know, but I understand it because this is a football town. But man, I'm excited. I love what we're seeing thus far. Obviously, this is just a quick little breakdown. We're gonna have Rob Scott on the show sometime within the next few days, and we're really gonna break down what we've seen from Caleb Williams thus far. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate everybody being here. We're ending at the 18-minute mark in a little homage, paying a little homage to the one and only Caleb Williams. So praise him, love him, hate him, however you feel. He's here. He's in your face. Claws up, bear down, baby. We are 3-2 on the year. I'm super excited to see what the future holds for this organization, man. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Speaking of the devil will appear. He is right here. My guy, Rob Scott. Rob, baby, how you feeling? Bears look like they will turn it around 100%. Rob, if you're still here, man, we got to hop on a show. We got to do some Bears talk because, man, these 20-minute breakdowns, these little segments, just not good enough. I know this network has so much amazing people on it, and I would love to do a full-blown show with my guy, Rob Scott. So until then, man, make sure you check us out on the Give Us a Shot Network. Make sure you give us some love if you haven't already. Hopefully my voice will be back and we'll be able to do a longer show in the next upcoming days. Until then, bear down, baby.
Give them a shot to do what?